In my past life, Enzo Fu tested me for 3 years with bankruptcy. Upon learning the truth, I wanted a divorce, but Enzo Fu refused, and I ultimately died of depression. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the moment Enzo Fu told me his family was bankrupt. Once more, I heard the word bankruptcy. I patted Enzo Fu's shoulder with a smile and said warmly, "Don't worry, I have hands and feet. If life gets too hard, I'll run away on my own." Run? Where would Remy run to? Straight into my heart. Enzo Fu spoke with deep affection, and his appearance was equally tender, which is why he deceived me year after year in my past life. I forced a smile and said, "I was just joking with Enzo." Enzo Fu awkwardly picked up a piece of meat from his bowl and placed it in mine, gazing at me with deep emotion. "Remy, even though my family has gone bankrupt, you won't leave me, right?" I nodded with a smile, but my eyes turned cold. In my previous life, Enzo Fu told me that not long after going bankrupt, he found a tough job that required frequent business trips. Every time he returned, he was utterly exhausted, reeking of alcohol, vomiting, and suffering from diarrhea, which made me secretly cry several times. Turns out the exhaustion came from partying night after night at nightclubs. The vomiting and diarrhea were from drinking with beautiful women and buddies, to prevent any accidents. Enzo Fu always went to places very far away, so far that I didn't even dare to imagine the cost. After finishing the noodles, Enzo Fu left, saying he needed to go back and prepare. Watching Enzo Fu's retreating figure, I laughed for a long time, at Enzo Fu, and at myself. I didn't even glance at the meat Enzo Fu had picked for me in the bowl. That's just how Enzo Fu is, always using small favors to move me to tears, making me wholeheartedly endure hardships by his side. In the end, moved heaven and earth and myself, only to realize it was all just a so-called test by Enzo Fu, to see if I truly loved him. This time, I won't play along with your act. Leaving the noodle shop, I stretched lazily under the warm sunlight. This time, there's still time to make things right. On my way home, I called my best friend Ju. The endless dial tone made me nervous. At this time in my previous life, Ju and I had already lost contact because of the Enzo Fu incident. I didn't know if she would answer this call. After a long minute, the call was picked up. The voice on the other end was dripping with sarcasm right from the start. "Oh ho ho, who do we have here? Isn't this the heartless sister who said she'd cut ties with me forever because I was stirring up trouble Tilda?" I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Ju, my beauty, please stop teasing me. Alright, why are you calling me all of a sudden? Let me say this first, I won't help with anything major. After all, we're not that close Tilda." Hearing the familiar voice, I couldn't help but choke up. Ju's tone turned serious. "What did that bastard Enzo Fu do to you?" I didn't want to drag Ju into this. The Fu family, none of us can afford to offend them. Enzo Fu didn't do anything to me. He told me his family went bankrupt. What a load of bullshit. Ju exploded in rage. "I just saw him in the group chat making plans with that idiot Jiang to go racing at Fragrant Hills. That idiot Jiang, whose full name is Jiang Wen, is Enzo Fu's childhood friend and closest buddy." Ju asked me, "Where are you now? I'll come pick you up." I sent my location, and before long, a pink car pulled up in front of me. The window rolled down, revealing Ju's face behind sunglasses. Ju, a cool girl with twin tails and pink hair. "Get in the car." Ju took me to a nearby cafe. I remembered the last time I saw Ju. Her hair was still blue. "When did you change it to pink?" "I thought last time it wasn't." Ju rolled her eyes at me. "Girl, do you even remember how long ago our last meeting was?" "Alright, the last time we met was 6 months ago. At that time, Ju kept telling me that Enzo Fu was no good for me, but I thought she was just jealous. We had a huge fight and completely lost contact. When Ju found out I thought she liked Enzo Fu, she immediately said she wanted to crack open my head to see if there was water in it." Enzo Fu, me, like him. I really can't stand him. No, I can't stand the entire Enzo Fu family, especially that father of his. Ordered 2 cups of coffee at the cafe. Ju told me, "You mustn't be fooled by that idiot Enzo Fu. He's just like his father, loves playing those true love tests." "Do you know how Enzo Fu's mother died?" I nodded. I'd heard Enzo Fu say that his mother jumped to her death when he was 12. Ju-Mi wagged her finger. Enzo Fu didn't tell the whole story, his mother was forced into it. Ju-Mi scrolled through her phone. I thought she was going to show me evidence, but it turned out to be her chat history with Enzo Fu. Enzo Fu's parents were married for over 20 years, yet his father never truly trusted his mother. He was on guard against Enzo Fu's mother for most of their lives. The day she learned the truth, Enzo Fu's mother couldn't bear it and jumped off a building. I could only sigh, what kind of people are these? But Enzo Fu truly is his father's son. Ju-Mi was applying powder nearby, glancing at me from time to time. After all I've said, shouldn't you break up with Enzo Fu now? I shook my head, and Ju-Mi immediately glared at me, baring her teeth and claws. If you don't break up with Enzo Fu, then forget about being sisters. Ju-Mi stood up as if to leave, but I pulled her back down, stirring the coffee in my hand. I said, I will definitely break up with him. But not now. Ju-Mi blinked in confusion. Why? If I break up with him now, wouldn't that just prove I'm someone who despises the poor and loves the rich? Ju-Mi frowned. Yeah, what should we do? I can't possibly wait until Enzo Fu's testing is over. I narrowed my eyes. Breaking up sooner or later makes no difference, so why not pick a special day to do it? Ju-Mi blinked, then caught on. Great idea. Since he's afraid you'll reject him for being poor, just find someone rich and dump him hard. But, Ju-Mi sounded worried. What if he retaliates against you? Enzo Fu is the most petty person. Never mind, if there's anything I can do to help, you must come to me. I blew on my coffee. I can handle it myself. 3 days later, Enzo Fu called. Remy, I'm moving today, can you come help me pack? I glanced out the window. The weather wasn't too hot, so I agreed. Alright, we took a taxi to Enzo Fu's villa, where he was slowly moving things out, sweat dripping into his collar. In my past life, this broke my heart. So I ended up helping him pack up everything by myself while Enzo Fu sat idly by, enjoying the shade. At first, I suggested hiring movers, but Enzo Fu said he couldn't afford it. I offered to pay, but he stayed silent and kept working alone. I couldn't bear to see him like that, so I took on the entire task myself, even though I'd never even washed a single dish at home before. This time I didn't move, just stood in the shadows sighing. Enzo, with so many things, how long will it take you to move them all by yourself? Actually, Enzo Fu had hired movers. Before I arrived, they were the ones moving everything. When I got there, Enzo Fu splashed water on himself and stood in the sun pretending to move things. While the movers were hiding in the backyard at that moment, perhaps not expecting me to react this way, Enzo Fu froze for a long moment before wiping his sweat and saying, "It's fine, it'll get done eventually." Half an hour later, Enzo Fu was so exhausted his arms and legs were trembling. While I sat in the shade enjoying the cool breeze, nothing could have been more comfortable. I neither helped nor left, and soon Enzo Fu stopped moving. His face turned pale as he gasped for breath. Remy, could you pass me some water, please? I deliberately feigned surprise. Oh, but I didn't bring any water. Sorry, Enzo, if it were me from my past life, I would have already gone to fetch water by now. But this isn't my past life. I'm not the same Remy he is before. Finally, Enzo Fu's good buddy Jiang Wen couldn't stand it anymore. He emerged from some obscure corner, handed Enzo Fu a bottle of water, and helped him rest in the shade. I scooted over a bit and, noticing the sky growing dark, reminded him, Enzo, you'd better hurry up, or you won't finish moving today. I pretended not to hear the sound of Jiang Wen cracking his knuckles. Jiang Wen sent a message on his phone, "Get a few people over here." 5 minutes later, a group of men gathered at the villa. Jiang Wen directed them to move the items. Enzo Fu really had a lot of stuff. I must have been blind in my past life. How could the basement Enzo Fu rented possibly hold all these things? Will Enzo's new place have enough space for all these things? Enzo Fu paused mid-sip of water, wiping his hands. Enzo Fu was very pale, his hands flushed an unnatural red from the brief labor. Most of these are meant to be sold to pay off debts. There won't be much left after selling. I nodded. I see. Most of the stuff has been moved. Enzo Fu took my hand and asked, Remy, would you like to see where I live? Alright, I drove Enzo Fu to the place. The whole way, Enzo Fu didn't notice that I drove straight to his new home without needing any directions from him. Enzo Fu pushed open the iron gate. With a creak, dust flew everywhere, and Enzo Fu coughed so hard he almost threw up. I waved my hand in front of my face. Enzo, is this where you're going to live from now on? The disdain in Enzo Fu's eyes was barely concealed, but he still tried to put on an act of helplessness. I don't have much money left, between paying off debts and raising funds. There are just too many expenses. I patted Enzo Fu on the shoulder. And what about my bride price? Enzo is under too much pressure. Enzo Fu held my hand. If I don't save up enough money, won't Remy marry me? There was no light in the basement. I glanced at my phone to the side, rolling my eyes so hard in the darkness where Enzo Fu couldn't see, but I said, of course not. Yeah, right. Who would marry you, dude? With flashlights in hand, we roughly toured the house. It wasn't big, just one room with shared toilets and showers. Enzo Fu nodded, not in approval of the cheap place, but in satisfaction with the training ground it would become for me. This place wasn't for Enzo Fu to live in, it was for me. In the end, the one who stayed here was me, day after day, year after year. Through all 4 seasons, I lived in this shabby basement for a full 3 years, starving enough to dig through trash bins, thirsty enough to drink rainwater dripping from the eaves. After 3 years of hardship, on the day Enzo Fu returned in glory, he told me, "Congratulations, Remy, you've passed my test, let's get married." I will never forget that day, it's etched in my memory forever. "Remy, you can move." Yuck. I pushed Enzo Fu away and ran out to vomit, bile rising in my throat. Enzo Fu gently patted my back, and I deliberately said, I wouldn't even take this place if it were given to me. It's disgusting. What did Enzo say just now? Enzo Fu reluctantly shut his mouth. Nothing. I wiped my mouth. That family has moved, and we've seen the house. I'm heading back first. Enzo Fu wanted to stop me, his beautiful eyes full of hope. Remy, I ran away directly. I'll come see you next time, in my past life. Enzo Fu brought me to this crappy basement. He didn't say a word, and I just went home, packed my things, had a huge fight with my parents, and moved in to share both joy and hardship with him, in this life, If I ever step through this door again, I'm a dog. When I got home in the evening, my parents and my older brother were all sitting in the living room. Seeing me, my dad snorted. I scratched my head and called out guiltily, "Mom, Dad." My father stroked his beard and said sarcastically, "What are you back for? Why don't you go keep your little boyfriend company?" After getting together with Enzo Fu, my relationship with my family became very strained. The last time, after a big fight. I ran away from home and haven't been back since. Returning only led to another huge argument, and I never came back again. This time, I won't give up any family or friends for Enzo Fu again. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but tear up. Mom, Dad, Big Brother, I know I was wrong. My mother came over and hugged me. The daughter she had raised with such toil and hardship had severed ties with the family and even run away from home for a man. As a mother, she had been so worried that she couldn't sleep night after night. It's not that Mom doesn't love you or insists on stopping you from being with that Enzo Fu, it's just that his family background is unusual, and you'll surely suffer if you marry him. My father chimed in, Enzo Fu is indeed outstanding, but he's not the right match for you, let alone someone to spend the rest of your life with. That's right, little sister, my brother advised me, Mom and Dad would never harm you. Enzo Fu may be devoted, but he's too paranoid. He's not the right person for you. Those involved are bewildered, while onlookers see clearly. Everyone knew Enzo Fu was no good, except for me. I closed my eyes and covered my ears, deceiving myself year after year, holding my mother's hand. I made a promise to my family. I will break up with Enzo Fu. Should have done it long ago. My father snorted. My mom also said, as long as you've thought it through. My brother gave me a reassuring look. We're always here for you. After that, Enzo Fu would text me every day, hinting that I should move in with him. I've tidied up the place. Would you like to come see? Everything's good, it's just a bit lonely by myself. Enzo Fu's voice carried a hint of loneliness. If it were the old me, I would have rushed over by now, but I'm not, I said regretfully. I really want to be there with you. But my parents won't let me go out, they've locked me up. Can you check these windows and see if we can climb out? I feigned surprise. No way, I live on the 3rd floor Tilda. You can tear the bedsheet into strips and escape through the window. Lying on my back on the bed, I put on a coquettish voice and said, it's so high up. But for Enzo, I can do it. But the bedsheet is so stiff, what if I can't tear it? Enzo Fu's plan had been delayed for several days, his voice carrying a hint of urgency. Do you have scissors in your room? Hugging my pillow, I replied, no, I don't. Then just force your way out. Your dad wouldn't actually hit you, would he? Enzo Fu's voice grew impatient. With a whimper, I said, I ran out yesterday, and my dad whipped my legs until they turned red. I have to go to work. Hanging up now. Beep beep. The call ended. I raised an eyebrow. Couldn't even handle that. I really don't know how Enzo Fu managed to keep up the act for 3 years in his past life. Not that he was particularly skilled, but I was too trusting of Enzo Fu. If only I had asked or investigated, even just a little, I wouldn't have been deceived for 3 whole years. Lying in bed playing games, it wasn't long before Ju-Mi's video call popped up. As soon as I answered, her tinkling, giggling laughter came through. What did you do today? Enzo Fu threw a huge tantrum in the group chat. I brushed it off. That's nothing. In my past life, whenever I needed something from Enzo Fu, he was just like this. Full of excuses, even blaming me for not making things easy for him. I didn't have to go through any of these things at all. My family may not be from a prestigious lineage, but we have enough money to last me a lifetime, and supporting an Enzo Fu wouldn't be a problem. But I was foolish. I couldn't see through Enzo Fu. I just thought if Enzo Fu wanted to make a comeback, I'd stand by him. In the end, I outsmarted myself and brought trouble upon myself. While scrolling through my friend's circle in the middle of the night, I saw a post from Enzo Fu, want to give you a home. I asked Ju-Mi if he could see Enzo Fu's post. Ju-Mi sent a shaking head emoji. I'll ask others. 3 minutes later, Ju-Mi replied, no update, so it was only visible to me. Sigh, Enzo Fu still hasn't given up. If you had said you'd join me in pretending, I wouldn't have complained. The problem is, I'm stuck in the basement eating instant noodles every meal, while Enzo Fu is feasting on delicacies in a presidential suite. The double standard is just too much. No one should suffer losses, least of all yourself, right? I commented on a friend's post, let's cheer each other on. Enzo Fu replied to me, I'll do my best. Ding dong. Enzo Fu sent me a voice message. Remy, I miss you so much. Can we meet tomorrow? Is it about work? Yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow. After saying goodnight to each other, I went to bed early, knowing there would be a tough battle to fight tomorrow. The next day I deliberately arrived half an hour late. Enzo Fu looked very displeased, saying with dissatisfaction, Remy, my car is at 2 p.m. I quickly squeezed out 2 tears. I'm sorry, Enzo. Thinking about you having to stay in that kind of place overnight made me so upset that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get up this morning, I'm just too useless. Enzo Fu patted my head and comforted me. Don't worry too much, everything will be fine. I found a job in the city a few days ago, and I have a business trip to Y City this afternoon. I nodded and said with concern, do you have enough money? I heard the weather in Y City is unpredictable, so remember to bring an umbrella when you go out. Before leaving, Enzo Fu handed me a key. Remy, when I return from my business trip next week, I want to see you at home. Touched, I wiped away my tears. I will, yeah, right. The moment Enzo Fu left, I lost the key right after. Ju-Mi called me and asked, has Enzo Fu been bothering you these days? I said, not too bad, just texting me every day to move into that basement. Ju-Mi let out a surprised sound. Damn Enzo Fu, if he wants to act so badly, he should just join a drama troupe and play a beggar. But no, he has to go around ruining others' lives every day. What a piece of trash. Whatever you do, don't fall for his tricks. Ju-Mi warned me repeatedly. I replied to her, of course not. The day Enzo Fu returned from his business trip was his birthday. I thought to myself, it's time to tell him we're breaking up. The only regret is that I couldn't find someone richer than Enzo Fu, couldn't ruthlessly dump him. Enzo Fu sent a message, and I replied on the way, though I was actually at home. When Enzo Fu asked which entrance I was at, I said, At the doorstep of my home, Enzo Fu told me to stop joking, and I said, "I'm serious, Remy, what's wrong with you?" Enzo Fu's voice sounded anxious. "Is your family giving you a hard time?" I remained calm inside. "Let's break up." Enzo Fu was silent for a long time on the other end. "I don't agree." I switched the phone to my other hand. "I'm just letting you know, is it because my family went bankrupt and we have no money now?" Enzo Fu's voice grew even colder. "So you really only loved my money, didn't you, Remy? You really are just a money-grubbing bitch. You were only with me for the money, and now that I'm broke, you're going to abandon me. Is that it?" Hearing the word bitch, I knew Enzo Fu was still the same Enzo Fu. He hadn't changed at all from beginning to end. "But you can't even afford the bride price for me now," I said, looking at my freshly done manicure. "Why should I suffer with you? It's not my obligation." Enzo Fu hung up the phone and growled, "You'll regret this." "I don't know if I'll regret it, but I know I can't marry Enzo Fu again. That wouldn't just be a grave, it would be a living hell. In my previous life, I found out the truth and ran away from the wedding. Enzo Fu bankrupted my family to capture me, and my parents and brother ended up in prison. I was also caught by Enzo Fu, locked up, and forced to marry him. Enzo Fu treated me well, and later we even had a pair of children. But I couldn't trust him anymore. I feared it might just be another one of his tests. At the age of 43, I finally exhausted myself to death. I feared Enzo Fu's revenge, but I feared marrying him even more. Just like in my previous life when he caught me, Enzo Fu's revenge came swiftly. My family's company began to encounter various problems, one report after another, and the company's profits plummeted. My father and brother were so worried they didn't sleep well for days. Looking into their bloodshot eyes, I wondered whether I should keep holding on. My brother told me, "Now that you've seen Enzo Fu's true colors, you definitely shouldn't marry him. Enzo Fu has been suppressing my family relentlessly." My father went to meet many nouveau riches he used to look down upon, and my brother reached out to many old friends he hadn't contacted in years. The first time I saw Enzo Fu after our breakup was at a friend's birthday party. His female companion deliberately bumped into me, getting splashed with the red wine in my hand. Afraid I wouldn't compensate her, she started shouting loudly in the crowd, "What's wrong with you? This is a limited edition that just arrived, and it's very expensive. You must pay for it." I glanced at the dress. I truly can't afford to pay for the millions worth of high-end custom pieces. The late autumn weather was somewhat chilly. The crowd was filled with voices discussing how I couldn't afford to pay. Enzo Fu looked down at me from his high position, mouthing the words, "I told you. You'd regret it." When I was isolated and helpless, a warm suit jacket was draped over my shoulders. It was a man with a scar at the corner of his eye. Carrying a faint scent of cigarettes, holding up his phone, he said with a playful tone, "Really sorry about that. I was taking photos just now and accidentally captured something quite interesting." The woman's face turned deathly pale as she cautiously hid behind Enzo Fu, Cruz Fu. Enzo Fu's voice was laced with gritted teeth. "When did you come back?" Cruz Fu glanced at me before answering Enzo Fu. "When I heard you broke up." Cruz Fu crushed the cup in his hand. His eyes glared fiercely at the man beside me. I didn't know this man, but I knew Cruz Fu, the illegitimate son of the Fu family, Enzo Fu's elder brother who was raised abroad. Enzo Fu looked at me in disbelief, as if we had long been having an affair behind his back. "Remy." Enzo Fu pointed at the two of us. "When did you two start hooking up?" I didn't want to say a single word. Cruz Fu stepped in front of me. "You'd better not talk nonsense. Miss He and I met for the first time today. But we hit it off immediately. Secondly, Miss He is currently single and has the right to freely pursue love. I don't know what happened afterward." As Cruz Fu put his arm around me and led me away, as we left the crowd, I was about to break free when Cruz Fu held my hand and said, "Enzo Fu is behind." It wasn't until we got into Cruz Fu's car and it started moving that Cruz Fu finally let go of my hand. After driving for a while, Cruz Fu stopped the car. As I was opening the door, Cruz Fu said, "I want Enzo Fu's company." I got out of the car but didn't leave immediately. I said, "You're an illegitimate child." Cruz Fu shrugged indifferently. "So what? I have the ability." Looking at his features, so similar to Enzo Fu's, I lowered my eyes. The Fu family won't give it to you. Cruz Fu smirked, a noticeable scar on his eyebrow. That's why I came to you, isn't it? Enzo Fu faked bankruptcy to test your loyalty, then after being exposed, he suppressed your family's company. Don't you want revenge? Of course I do. What are you going to do about it? Cruz Fu said, just be with me in this relationship. I'll handle the rest. There are people in the Fu family who support me. As long as Enzo Fu makes a single misstep, I can bring him down. I understand. Are you trying to use me to provoke Enzo Fu? Cruz Fu said. Correct. What if Cruz Fu doesn't care about me? Cruz Fu said confidently. Why not give it a try and see? After that day, Enzo Fu and I made our relationship public, flaunting our love from morning till night. Everyone in the circle maintained an attitude of skepticism but still offered their blessings. Ju-Mi remarked, this doesn't seem to align with what you said about finding someone richer than Enzo Fu, does it? I lazily said. Just kick Enzo Fu off, isn't that it? Ju-Mi replied, you're still the boss. In the first month after announcing our relationship, Cruz Fu and I got engaged. With the wedding set for half a month later, Enzo Fu also announced his relationship that day, scheduling his wedding for the same day as ours. Even trying on wedding dresses happened on the same day. I was betting with Cruz Fu about whether Enzo Fu would show up. When Enzo Fu walked in with his fiancée, damn it. My $3,000, I bet Enzo Fu won't come. As soon as Enzo Fu entered, he saw someone in a wedding dress holding hands with Cruz Fu. His eyes were slightly red. He asked the staff to bring him an identical one. The staff said, Sir, this wedding dress is the only one available. Enzo Fu looked at us and said, I'll take this wedding dress. I'll pay 10 times the price. 10 times? How much is that? Cruz Fu gave me a number. Holy shit, switch. Cruz Fu held me down to stop me from switching. He said, my wife said she really likes this wedding dress, and she wants to wear it when she gets married. Enzo Fu just kept raising the price. My wife likes it too. Later, when I went to take off the wedding dress and came out again, they had already finished talking. Cruz Fu handed me a card with a regretful expression. We can only go check out the others. God knows what a huge bargain we got. The next time I ran into Enzo Fu after that day was at a birthday banquet for an elder 3 days later. Ju-Mi and I were hiding in a corner whispering when Enzo Fu approached under the moonlight. Miss Ju, I have a few words to say to Miss He. Would you mind stepping aside? Ju-Mi immediately shouted. Why should I? I patted Ju-Mi on the back and told her to wait for me nearby. Ju-Mi looked at me worriedly. Then hurry up, I'll be right here. If anything happens, just shout, and I'll come over immediately. I nodded. Go ahead. After Ju-Mi left, Enzo Fu walked over and pulled me into his space. Why? Enzo Fu's voice was slightly hoarse. Remy, I know you're not the kind of person who despises the poor and flatters the rich. I took a step back and looked at Enzo Fu. What about you? Why did you pretend to be bankrupt to deceive me? Now, Enzo Fu is glamorous and successful. There's no such thing as bankruptcy. Enzo Fu fell silent. You're afraid I'm after your money. I finished Enzo Fu's sentence for him. Enzo Fu, when it comes down to it, you've never truly believed in me. Have you? Enzo Fu shook his head. I haven't. If you believed in me, why would you test me, Enzo Fu? If you really can't bring yourself to trust me, you don't have to be with me at all. Under Enzo Fu's panicked gaze, I continued, Enzo Fu, if I had moved in with you on the day you relocated, would you have actually lived there with me? Enzo Fu didn't respond. He lowered his head. You wouldn't, right? Because you're not actually bankrupt. You just wanted to test my love. But Enzo Fu, what gives you the right to test my love? My question went unanswered, only as he left. Enzo Fu roared in a hoarse voice behind me. I'll make it up to you. Compensation. I don't need it. All I need is for you to go bankrupt, truly and completely bankrupt. After that, Enzo Fu started coming to see me frequently, camping outside my door every day. Afraid he might disturb my parents, I moved out of my family home. I moved to a place very far from Enzo Fu's company, yet I could still see Enzo Fu standing by the roadside every day. That day, it was raining outside. Enzo Fu stood by the car, drenched like a drowned rat. While I stood on the balcony talking to Cruz Fu on the phone, the company's profits have plummeted these past few days, and the board is extremely unhappy. It's about time. He has a bidding tomorrow. Find a way to delay him. After hanging up, I stared at the figure in the rain for a long time. It reminded me of the time I went to pick up Enzo Fu. The rain was heavy that day, and even with an umbrella, I got soaked. I waited at the exit for a long time, until the high-speed rail station closed, before I went home. By the time I got back, Enzo Fu was already fast asleep. The next day, Enzo Fu explained to me that the rain had been too heavy that day, and his colleague had given him a ride back. He had drunk too much and forgot to tell me. I didn't say anything, but I remembered it for a long time because I didn't smell any alcohol on Enzo Fu that night. I didn't go downstairs until the rain lightened. Why didn't you wait in the car? I asked Enzo Fu, who was drenched like a drowned rat. He blinked his rain-filled eyes and said, "Remy, I know I was wrong." I sighed, my expression softening a bit. "Come inside." Only then did Enzo Fu follow me into the house. I told him to go take a shower first while I went to the kitchen to make ginger soup for Enzo Fu, perhaps because I didn't seem as angry anymore. While drinking the ginger soup, Enzo Fu asked me, "How did you find out?" Enzo Fu's question was abrupt, but I knew what he was asking. I stirred the coffee in my hand and said, "You weren't exactly hiding it." A few casual questions here and there, and the truth came out easily. Enzo Fu let out an "oh" and fell silent. I told him to finish his drink and get some rest early. The next day, Enzo Fu indeed developed a high fever. I sat by his bedside as he burned with delirium, still under the illusion that we were fine. Whining about his headache, I stroked Enzo Fu's cheek, watching his flushed face, and only called 120 after receiving a message on my phone saying it was time. I only laughed after the ambulance took Enzo Fu away. Goodbye, from Cruz Fu. I learned that Enzo Fu was removed from his position as president by the board of directors for missing the bidding, and Cruz Fu took over. Enzo Fu lost interest in the company's affairs, and the Fu family's focus gradually shifted toward Cruz Fu. Over time, Enzo Fu faded from public view, and I hadn't seen him for a long time. It had been half a year since I last saw Enzo Fu. My wedding with Cruz Fu was delayed due to his new official appointment, and Enzo Fu hadn't gotten married either. Looking at Enzo Fu, who seemed to have just recovered from a serious illness, it appeared he wanted to say something. I walked over and asked, "Are you still not well?" Enzo Fu lowered his head, and Cruz Fu said to me, "Cruz Fu told me you're with him now." I crossed my arms and said indifferently, "Does it matter whether we're together or not?" "It doesn't, Enzo Fu." I nodded. "It doesn't matter whether we're together or not." Enzo Fu hesitated. "Remy, I really, truly know I was wrong." I tried to step around him to pass by, but Enzo Fu grabbed me. His eyes were bloodshot. "If I were truly bankrupt, would you still like me?" I pulled Enzo Fu's hand away. "No matter what, you're still a member of the Fu family. You won't go bankrupt." Enzo Fu asked me, "Will you marry Cruz Fu?" I said, "Probably." "Will you come then?" Enzo Fu shook his head and simply said, "He's not the right one." I nodded in understanding. "I've heard your advice, and I'll give it serious thought." Enzo Fu is gone. The next second, Cruz Fu called. With Enzo Fu taken down, "Aren't you coming out to celebrate?" "All right." After hanging up, I called Ju-Mi and told her about it. Cruz Fu isn't a good person either. Let me tell you. Just as Ju-Mi finished speaking, Cruz Fu's car pulled up right in front of me. Cruz Fu, wearing sunglasses, said, "Get in the car." Once inside the car, Cruz Fu somehow pulled out a bouquet of flowers from nowhere. "Here you go." I didn't take it. Cruz Fu stuffed it into my arms and said, "It's not like I got this specifically for you. The staff just put it in when I picked up the car." I looked at Cruz Fu. "Have things at the company settled down?" Cruz Fu nodded. "Pretty much." I nodded. Cruz Fu pulled me to the seaside, just as the sun was setting. The evening glow over the sea was breathtakingly beautiful. A crowd had gathered by the shore, and Cruz Fu dragged me over to join the excitement. Someone was proposing. Pushing through the crowd, Enzo Fu and I ended up at the front row of the spectacle. Among the crowd, one person was kneeling with a ring, while the other held a bouquet of flowers. The surroundings were filled with cheers and teasing voices. "Marry him! Marry him!" Suddenly, The girl looked at me, ran over, and handed me the flowers she was holding. Everyone was stunned by this scene. I was shocked too. Cruz Fu suddenly knelt down and took out a ring from his pocket. "Marry me, Remy." The man who had just proposed explained, "This gentleman is the one who truly proposed." The crowd quickly caught on and hurriedly offered us their blessings. The focus shifted, and Cruz Fu smiled so widely his eyes disappeared, holding the flowers. I counted the time. We had already been together for half a year. I pulled Cruz Fu up, saying, "Get up first." Cruz Fu refused. "We were supposed to get married 3 months ago. It's my fault for making you wait until now." The crowd urged me to forgive Cruz Fu. I neither agreed nor refused, simply pulling Cruz Fu to his feet. Someone recognized Cruz Fu, and soon my identity was exposed as well. I had no choice but to leave first. Cruz Fu caught up and grabbed me. "Sorry, don't you like this kind?" I looked at Cruz Fu, confused. "Aren't we fake? We're only together for the collaboration." Cruz Fu shook his head. "That was half a year ago. Now I've fallen for you. If you think the past doesn't count, then let me start pursuing you now. Can you give me a chance? Give me a chance to pursue you." Opportunity. I closed my eyes, and Enzo Fu's warning voice echoed in my mind. I touched Cruz Fu's face. Cruz Fu squinted his eyes in pleasure and said, "I shouldn't be bad looking. Indeed, not bad at all." The Fu family has a very distinctive trait. Their eyebrows and eyes are strikingly similar. Sometimes when I look at Cruz Fu, I mistake him for Enzo Fu. "I heard that the idea of Enzo Fu testing me was yours." Cruz Fu was taken aback. He seemed surprised and inadvertently confessed, "Enzo Fu actually told you. I withdrew my hand. I wouldn't like you, let alone marry you, even if Enzo Fu didn't say anything. You're also a member of the Fu family, aren't you?" I took out my phone and showed Cruz Fu a document. Enzo Fu sent it to me after he left that day. Share transfer agreement. Enzo Fu may have left, but he still holds shares in the company, and quite a substantial amount at that. 25%. I gave Cruz Fu's hand a gentle tug. Happy cooperation. Then he left with style. Actually, besides the stock transfer agreement, there was also a picture. It was the wedding dress Enzo Fu bought at a high price that day. Along with it came a single sentence: "Would you still marry me?" After reading it, I silently blocked all of Enzo Cruz Fu's contact information. Nowadays, I can live well and finish the rest of my life without getting married. Man, if he wants to leave, let him leave.